We're going live, right?
We'll do it live! Hey there! What do you say there, world? Welcome to the Racers Recap. My name is Justin.
Diana.
I'm Corey.
James Earl is... Oh, Eric is here! James Earl is on call. He won't be joining us tonight.
Turn you down just like a notch. Just kidding.
Jesus, buzzkill. I'm not even done with the intro yet, and you're already harping. Just chill.
Just turn it down. All right.
Yeah,
No, go ahead. No, I'm just asking you to turn it down.
Yeah, I'm just asking you to be quiet when I'm doing the intro. How's that? Just focus on typing the people in the chat room. I don't know where we're at. So what's up, Eric? How you doing? Diana likes throwing my stuff up.
Pretty good. Doing pretty good, man. How about y'all?
I am excellent. If you can't see his background, he is at the firehouse waiting. So if you hear a freaking bell going and he's gone, you know why.
Hopefully not, man. Hopefully not.
Fingers crossed. So we'll try to get in as much as we can before anything happens. So let's. What have you been up to? How's the race? How's life been since the race is over?
Oh, been good, man. Just raising the kids and going to work. So it's been
right
pretty
back to normal.
Back to normal. You know, we took some trips, went to Disney World with the girls, and just been hanging out. You know, just trying to spend time with the family and just trying to get things back to a kind of a normal routine after the holidays.
Have you done any like viewings with your family or friends, or at a bar or anything like that at the station?
We had all the family and a few friends over on the premiere, and we did one just a small thing at the house last week, and this is gonna be our first week where we watch it with friends. That we're going to a local restaurant, got a room and everything for friends to come and hang out with us. So
that's great.
Those are the best.
Yeah.
Take every opportunity you can. Don't say no to any of these opportunities, no matter how tired you are. I mean, it goes by so fast. So
especially
enjoy
your season. I feel like because you have all these double episodes coming up that you don't have it drawn out for 4 months like we did, unfortunately.
So let's take it back to the starting line. How was it being at an open start in New York City with 1,000 people screaming and yelling? How was that experience for you guys?
It was different, you know, because we've been told for so long, hey, keep it under wraps. And we pull up in a bus and we see a few thousand people. We're like, I guess it ain't under wraps anymore. That's not bad. I talked to my wife after it's all over. She said, yeah, I watched you from somebody's live stream from the starting line. Like, man, well, if I'd have known that, I might have flew y'all out there to come watch us.
But that's cool, because then after you didn't have to keep it a secret. Like, neither did we. So that was kind of the good part, is we didn't have to keep it a secret after that live start. So
I've learned some information since the start, but I don't know if you watched the first episode or the cast assessment. But as much as I loved you guys, I was extremely pissed that you guys wore jeans to the open start, looking like you guys are on HGTV's next home improvement show rather than here for Amazing Race. Can you take me to the thought process of the jeans? What's going on with the jeans, man?
Well, we had our normal, you know, workout type clothes and everything, but if you look at my closet, there's probably two colors. You know, there's earth tone and there's plaid. So what can show who we are the most, you know? But if I was going to wear plaid, it just didn't go with gray, khaki, and all that kind of stuff. We look kind of goofy. I know they thought we looked goofy anyway, so it didn't matter. But we felt more comfortable when at home in jeans, and we knew as soon as we got there and we needed to, we were going to ditch them. So
you ditched them in Iceland.
Yeah, there. My good pair of jeans still sitting in Iceland, man.
My good pair.
So, like, I mean, that's like your start line outfit. So I guess for everybody, you can get by on jeans for your start line.
Did the jeans have anything to do with your relationship with Jet and Cord?
No, it's what we wear. We like Jet and Cord, you know. They're obviously our favorites before, just because we feel like we're the most in common with them. I mean, we don't ride bulls, but they're just they've related a lot to them. But no, we didn't wear it because of them. We wore, but yeah, I mean, it does relate to them. I guess if you look at it that way.
No, it shows who you are, and I get it. When you're at the starting line, you want to show your personality as much as you can. All right. So also at the starting line, me and Diana were there. I had one of my bandanas that I had from the race, and we sit there and we wrote like 4 or 5 different kind of inspirational quotes or things that we learned along the way. Yeah. It happened to end up on one of your bags. Can you explain one, when you first saw it, and did you ever use it?
Yeah, we got it. You know, we got running and we got into the cab or the airport where things finally settled down, and they left their bandana on our bag. I don't know what's going on. And then I realized and Diana out there, they were the green team and we had green bags. So obviously I said, well, we must have done, thought we were the green ones. We're not, but we appreciate it anyhow. So we said, oh man. We used it, you know, because it says you make a mistake, get over it and move forward. Forget it. We had a lot of forgetting to do in the first few episodes, man. We found it. Even, you know, I've watched every episode. I'm a huge fan, and things I used to say I'm not going to do. I'm not going to do. We did it. Yeah, yep. We did it countlessly, and we knew where we were screwing up. It's like if we can get the directions down, we'll be golden, you know. But it took a little bit to get our stride, for sure. And thankfully, we survived the
early I mean, it's so tough, those early legs, but those are the only legs that you can make these mistakes and survive, because there's other people making mistakes. Later on, it comes down to the people not making mistakes. So one mistake will kill you. All right, let's get it on.
Yeah, it was down.
I can't with this dog.
I know. My dog is sitting right here just slapping on the keyboard.
And he's trying to like climb up, but there's literally no room for him to go anywhere. He's putting
join the show.
His face on my hands.
Season 30, episode 2. You're the best French fry ever. It kicks off in Iceland, which is a great place. It's very special to our heart. And we found out that the crew was actually staying at the same.
And they did too.
They did?
Cast and the crew.
They said the cast and the crew stayed at the same hotel that me and Diana stayed when I proposed to Diana in Iceland.
Oh, really? Oh, man.
Yeah. Somebody had posted a picture of like the wooden guy sitting on the bench, and I was like, God, that he looks so familiar. And then I kind of went back to our hotel and looked at the lobby pictures, and I realized that it was the same hotel.
So you guys see, that shows you how much research I did for the race. The same airline that we took to the race actually took, and then the same hotel that I stood at, the race actually stood at. It was like I was producing it for him. No. So it's a fun tie. Teams kicked off with at 8:08 with Team Extreme, followed by Big Brother 8 minutes behind them, and then 2 minutes behind them was Team Yell, and then we didn't see any times after that. So the first 3 teams were pretty close to each other, within 10 minutes of each other. Everybody was on the same flight from Iceland, even though there was like supposedly over 136 different flights to choose from. There was only one flight for every team to go to Amsterdam.
Yeah, good old
a little disappointed with that. Well, a little disappointed with the bunch point, but I get it. So after everybody gets off the flights, then what? Then what happens? We have to run around and get to is it a train station? Is it a subway? It's a subway, right?
Yeah, it's attached to the airport. And by the way, that's probably the biggest airport I've ever seen in my life. We ran, and then we'd start running some more, and it just kept going. I said, after that, we pretty much came up, you know, that was pretty much the last time we all sat down after that and said, hey, we're all going to get through the stuff and start at the same time. So we're not running through the airport like fools and just wearing ourselves out for nothing. Because every time we get there, anyways, I was like, why worry about it, you know?
So as a cast, you guys came up with, we're not going to run any airports?
I think it was after that leg that we said, you know what, let's just all start at the same spot. We don't have to get all sweaty, run, and just end up having to stop anyway. So it made it a lot less stressful. You didn't have to worry about where you sat. Everything was good to go.
There's no way our cast would have agreed to that.
Well, that's because I don't. Yeah.
Corey, would your cast have agreed to that?
I'm like, even hearing it, I'm like, I'm interested to see how long that lasts.
Yeah, to the end. You know?
I'm like, is it going to last the whole time?
We'll see.
One thing I can say about the cast of this, man, there's very little drama, and most people got along really well for the most part. So, you know, even sitting in the airports, we're playing Uno, playing cards, just talking. We knew how everybody met their spouses. You know, everybody really got to know each other, and we really enjoyed that.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, Justin made enemies day one, so I don't know that they would have let. See, our cast would have never agreed to it because it just never would have happened.
Yeah. So I don't care what the cast would agree. I'm like, yeah.
I was gonna say our cast was super friendly with each other as well. I mean, I think we got a lot of heat when the show was filming because people said we all helped each other, but it really was just because we all got along. Even the small like bickering you did see. I mean, we're all still friends with everybody now. So
yeah.
I think that's cool. That's part of. No, that's big. That's a big thing we take away from it. We made a lot of good relationships.
Absolutely.
And it seems like early on,
good people and no regret any of it.
Yeah, it's all about good people. Your cast. See, every season has its own little thing to it. Your season seems to be like it's not going to be a lot of drama, but it's going to be a lot of competition. And already teams are starting to kind of pair off. Maybe Strong seems to be working with Team Extreme.
Yeah.
A powerful female team, possibly getting together. We'll see if that turns into anything. Then I got to take a train from Amsterdam to Belgium, which seems like a lot of fun because everybody is going to get bunched up again waiting for a 9 a.m. chocolate place to open. So while you guys are all bunched up, there was no numbers, no nothing like that. Did you guys say, hey, we'll just go in the order that we showed up, or was it once it opened, free for all?
Yeah, we did run to the chocolate factory. So we opened up. We took off running down the street from the train station, and we got there, and it's not open. So we're like, here we go again, running for nothing,
What time was it when you got there?
Probably around 11 o'clock. It was a couple hour train ride.
Got it.
Got there. It's cold, you're just kind of checking out, seeing what's going on. Said come back at 9, and then they brought us to a bar room that was closed, and we slept on the floor over there.
Extra footage showed you guys with these little thin mats, and some people had like interesting pillows and things like that.
Mattresses, yeah.
Oh yeah,
we had similar accommodations.
Yeah, it reminds me of.
So it wasn't bad.
That's just like our Switzerland leg, which was the exact same thing, waiting for a chocolate shop to open, and we slept in this like church basement waiting.
Yeah,
we had.
Sorry.
The sleep. Oh, no problem, man. They had a lot of sleeping bags and stuff. We were always concerned about weight, so we just had those orange, foil-looking emergency blankets.
Oh yeah.
We bought. But they were really warm, so.
We had those too, but we had like a pillow given to us, a little foam mat, and a blanket, and some heaters in the room because it was winter in Argentina. But I recognize those accommodations because we also had those as well in a similar way.
Yeah, we stayed at a church, so they had some accommodations. All right, so it's 9 a.m. Teams run in, get the chocolatier, see the little chocolatier, and get the clue, and then they're off. Team Indy takes a cab, and it seems like they were only 100 meters away.
They still took the cab.
Indy and the firefighters seem to be extremely running for last during this test. Team Extreme.
That is the hardest part, though. The tasks are a breeze. It's getting from place to place.
That seems like this season so far, the tasks don't seem difficult at all. But what seems really difficult is getting from place A to place B on every task so far. There was like not one easy place to get from. Even the place that was 100 meters away seemed to trip people up. Did you guys expect to be this difficult navigating?
No, we thought, man, we've always traveled, had good travel skills as far as finding our way, navigation. And man, when we got lost in Iceland, like, what happened? I said, I can't even believe we're lost here. And then we got here, and then we didn't get lost too bad. We kind of made our way around. We went on the shoreline, and because they had said go by the crane. Well, they had cranes lining the river, so we followed that and went around, and so we got there last. We had a problem reading the clue all the way because even in Iceland, when you ran to the canyon, it said, "Where's your rock that shows what place you're in?" They had the rocks 1 through 11 on the trail, and that's when you turned in, and that's how you got to cross the canyon. Well, we got all the way over there, a few hundred yards, and we didn't have a rock. We ran back, and my brother grabbed the rock first, and he grabbed number 11. I said, "Man, it don't." So we were last there again. So we're getting comfortable there.
All right, so it seems here we see Team Ocean Extreme having a lot of difficulties working together. There's a cab. Seems like cabs are extremely rare in Iceland, and there's a cab moving in slow motion.
In
right?
What? This was in Belgium.
Sorry. Cabs are extremely rare in Belgium, and there's a cab moving extremely slow. Right past them. He's like, what? And they just kind of let it go by.
Yeah, because it was one of those things where, like, I think Lucas was looking for Brittany to say, like, I want to take a cab. And I think she was, like, waiting for him. It was kind of like what I feel like we did sometimes where, like, I kind of look to you a lot, and I think she was relying on Lucas. So
and then we hear pineapple. Safe word comes out. Pineapple. Did Corey? Did you have a safe word? You and Tyler have a safe word on the race?
We absolutely had a safe word, and it wasn't. The funny thing is, it wasn't to like stop each other from bickering. It was to remind each other that you were mic'd. So like not to like say anything, or just like as a reminder, like you're being mic'd. They can use whatever you say whenever they want, however they want. So we did have a code word.
You want to share it or no?
I won't share it because it was a person's last name, but
gotcha. Okay. What about you? Did you and your brother have a code word? Do you need a code word? It seems like you guys get along so well.
Because they got the twin thing.
Still, it's brothers. You always compete.
I know, but it doesn't matter.
Do you guys really get along that well, or do you guys bicker?
Yeah. Well, you aggravate me a good bit sometimes during the race, but we know that we're so much alike that if we argue, we'll never come to nobody ever wins. And we just get really mad and that never happens. So we just stop, let it move on and go forward because it just wastes our time, Yeah. We learn now. We used to fist fight, wrestle. I mean, everything when we're younger. Now it's like,
I need
move
that.
forward.
I need that in my life. I wish I had that skill. That's such a skill. It's such an underrated skill, being able to just move on. Really is.
He sulks. He's a sulker.
Stop that. Roadblock. Who's ready to get high? And we all jumping in on this one because it seems like a really fun one. This leg's Roadblock. It's actually something that people can go and do. It's called the Sky Climb. And it seemed like there was 4 or 6.
4. There
was 4 ladders.
4. Yeah.
And as it's going up, you guys are climbing up, and you have to get to the bottom before the ride is over. Everybody that went up seemed to finish it before it came down. Didn't seem like too much difficulty. But this is a lot of drama for you being the firefighter, and you guys are racing for last. Did the firefighter skills come into play, or is this ladder just totally different?
No, I mean, I figure climbing a ladder is climbing a ladder. Put one hand in front of the other and just go. If you feel scared, don't pay attention to it and just keep moving. Because you have to do it no matter what. So I figure, I mean, we climb them sometimes, but we don't really climb one that's moving at the same time.
Did you guys do any preparation for the race, or do you think that it was just your firefighter training was enough?
Well, all we did, we normally work out and keep a decent routine, but kind of amped it up a little bit, especially on the cardio side of things. There's a lot of things you just can't prepare for because, as you know, they just kind of come up with some craziness. But baseline, you got to have your cardio and be semi-fit anyways. And so that's what we focused on more and try to memorize the flags. I don't think we got to Floyd's level, though. I don't think we got
Yeah, I don't think anybody on Earth's got to Floyd's level. Jeez, you can remember every flag.
And so it looks like all teams did complete it on their first try, which, going to a roadblock,
it's like,
I think that adds to the non-excitement of this kind of episode. Leg design.
See, here's the leg design. 4 people go up. And if all 4 get it, no matter who got it fastest and who got it slowest, if you all 4 get it and by the same time, you all 4 finish at the same time.
Right.
So it's just leads to bunching.
So those
bunching,
4 had
bunching.
a somewhat advantage when it came to detours kind of thing. And then the next 4 went and then the last 2 went. So you had to wait until they were all full to go.
Right.
So. And that's just going back to what a roadblock should be. I think it shouldn't. I don't know. Just the whole idea of what a leg of a roadblock should be. This was not it.
I like that they're going for the scary,
compete.
The fear, but I love the fact that it was head to head and you could see each other going because that adds the pressure and the adrenaline. You see somebody going faster.
Yeah, but it didn't stop or slow anybody down. It would have been nice if the first person to get it got it and everybody else had to redo it again. I mean,
oh man,
exhausted.
Yeah, that would have added it. Yeah, it wore you out. It definitely was a lot more physical than it looked. So if you had to keep doing it over and over and over, it would have added a whole new element to the situation for sure.
Yeah, just something like that. But again, we always want to make things tougher, I guess. Whenever we see these tasks, it's like, it should have been tougher. It should have been better.
Some people said it made no difference in placement, which is true. Some of the clues got knocked off, but they still had to go to the top, which...
Yeah, Joey Chestnut, they showed in the preview, him falling, and then they heard the sound as if he was going to break his leg, and there wasn't even drama during the thing. It's like, come on! Team Goat Yoga, Team Extreme, IndyCar, Ocean Rescue, Firefighters, you seem to all get lost on the way there. Again, another task that you guys are getting lost. Were you with other teams following them, or was everybody pretty much on their own?
We did run into Goat Yoga again. You know, we worked with him in Iceland on the way to the canyon, and then we ended up having to go against them. You know, the last 2 teams there, and then we worked with them there around. And then we were like, "Oh, this ain't it." And they said, "We found it." We said, "Just go, you know." Yeah.
Wow.
And we made our way back.
Yeah, it seemed like there's a lot of politeness on this show, and I'm hoping that when Jess and Cody can bring some of that big brother, like, hey, that's one thing that we'll get to later with Jess and Cody. It's something that I kind of respect about them. But there's a lot of politeness, and I think you guys are leading the way with that whole, like, hey, we're not going to change who we are. These are our values. If we're going to win the race, we're going to win the race. Is that kind of something that you, once the race started, you think you could maintain? Don't say what's happening further, but once the race started, was that like, you know what, we might be able to chop one of these people? Or is that something like we're not going to play dirty at all?
Oh, no, like playing the games, you know, you can play it hard without playing dirty.
Why do you think
U-turns?
So U-turns, no problems with U-turns? You guys don't use that as saying that's playing dirty, that's just part of the game?
Game, you know, it's like saying in Monopoly, pass and go is dirty. You know, you got to do it. It's just part of what happens. You know, we weren't past it. You know, if it happened and if somebody U-turned us, hey, we weren't going to be like, oh, I can't believe you did that. I'm like, you never watched the show.
Right.
No, we weren't past doing it. We just weren't. And we told people, hey, we'll work when it's helpful for both of us mutually. But when it comes down to it, we're both trying to win. So like with the girls, they followed us to the canyon. But when we got there and it was the last 2, you know, obviously we weren't going to. The helping each other had to end because it was down to one or the other. And we said that out front, and there was no hard feelings with anybody any time with that. Well, I can't speak for everybody. Some people may have got U-turned at different times and may have been upset. I don't know.
Lucas is in the chat room.
Hey, what's up? Lucas is here. Thanks for hanging out.
Team Ocean Rescue, so I guess maybe Brittany's there too.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Lucas!
All right, you guys getting lost. We're just talking about you guys getting lost and the problem finding taxis. And all 4 of the front teams seem to arrive at the same time. Big Brother, Well Strong, Slam Dunk, Team Chomp. Team Chomp in the front. That seems like, Team Chomp in the front. It doesn't seem that too much. They fell back pretty quick after that. I see them going home pretty soon.
It seemed like anytime they showed them running, I was like, this is a lot for them. Like,
well, and I kind of thought, like, okay, maybe because he's worked on his stomach so much, his lungs had to have shrank to make room for
his stomach got bigger and his lungs shrunk.
I mean,
well, it's just so funny.
It looks like he's struggling.
Watching Joey run, and Phil had already like commented about him having big feet or something, and just watching him run in this episode, he was like a deer learning how to walk. I was like cracking up.
Yeah, I don't think they can last too much longer unless Joey steps it up or they get to do some more driving. But they didn't seem like they did too well driving. Although Tim seems like a really good partner. He's a
great partner. He's so like motivating and just like the stuff that he says to move Joey along. Really, I think is what makes.
We know who the weak link is on that team. You may be better at eating hot dogs, but he's better at the amazing race there, Joey. All right, so we get to the first detour. This is where things got a little sticky. Is it old print or diamond glint? Old print, they had to use an old school print press and make a clue, print it, and the big trick was it was backwards, upside down. I had to figure that out. And then the diamond glint, they had 3 diamonds. They had to figure out the weight, clarity, and the value. And that seemed to be pretty difficult for every team. Another unbalanced detour where one was obviously so much harder than the other one. Would you agree, Sir Eric? Was one obviously so much harder than the other?
It's hard to say because I thought the print was harder because we didn't figure it out, obviously. So we left. But we went to the diamond, and at first it seemed really easy. And when it comes down to it, like everything probably would have went a lot quicker. One wrong calculation on a percentage in the very beginning and was basing everything else off those numbers. So for the next 2.5, 3 hours, we were screwing it up. So yeah, it was frustrating.
Hold on. 3 hours at the diamond?
Yeah. Shameful. I know.
How long did you spend at the print press before you switched?
I honestly don't know for sure. I know we were the last ones there. You know, Ocean Rescue, they were there with us and they got it. And I think when they left, that we were the last ones there. And when we did it,
an hour?
Yeah, I would say at least.
Jesus.
Jen had said that it took them 40 minutes and they were the only team to get it right on the first try.
Oh, so we could have been
40
there 2
minutes.
hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
But she said
yeah, who
that
knows?
I think she said Jess and Cody were going to get theirs judged when they just got there or
so
something. But
I would say an hour to an hour and a half on one challenge and then 3 hours on another challenge.
see, but I mean, the thing is one is complete. I mean, one is subjective, where you have to judge diamonds, where you could be wrong and you're screwing up like everything else up. Whereas the print press,
pretty straightforward.
it's pretty straightforward. I mean, if you kind of got the hang of it, Team Extreme's strategy of holding it up to the light and flipping it around, I think was just great. So that was a nice little hack that they found. Yeah.
Corey, which would you and Tyler would have chose?
We definitely. I mean, watching it, we would have done the print press, obviously. I mean, but you guys know how it is when you're reading it. You don't get the package on
Upside
a
down,
TV
right.
screen like Phil gives to the audience at home. You're reading 2 big paragraphs and trying to picture it in your head. My only question was, I was going to ask Eric if there was a certain number of teams that could only do each side, or if it was just anybody could do any.
I don't remember if it was limited or not, first come, first serve, but they had a good bit of stations there. I remember being at least four on each side, so maybe they could have ran out.
I just asked because I know on our season it felt like so many of the detours it was like only 4 people can make the piñatas, only 5 teams can bake the bread. So we were always playing that game of like, who do you think went where, and are we going to waste time if we go there and all the stations already taken?
Yeah.
So I hope.
So Diana's. Oh.
I was gonna say, yeah, we would have hopefully done the print press because obviously that appeared to be easier.
Yeah, we would have done print press too. So I've been doing like my ancestry, and geez, for generations on my dad's side, we've been into like printing and lithography. And so I already said like, oh my gosh, I'd be so excited to do that because Nutella was an old thing. So I would have definitely wanted to do that.
It's like, yeah, my ancestors used to do this, so we would have
I'll
done
be great
that.
at it.
You had an upper hand.
It's in my blood.
Yeah, and my ancestors weren't the rich Jews that had the diamonds. They were the so we definitely would have chosen a print press, and it seemed like it was a lot easier.
Yeah.
A couple things that stood out. Team Big Brother again doing really, really well. Team Slam Dunk, Team Extreme.
Can we get to that for a second?
Go ahead.
When they went to get their first thing judged, yeah, I'm so upset.
Yeah.
So when Team Big Brother went to get their thing judged, the guy just said, I can't do this because you don't have your places in, and this has to be here, and sent them away. And yes, they had to redo it from the beginning, but he never should have said what was wrong with it. He should have just said, I'm sorry, this is incorrect, and sent them back. Did you catch that, Corey?
I watched it again. Like I said, I always watch it twice, and I watched it again today, and I was trying to figure out what he was telling them was wrong, because it seemed to me like the letters were different heights when they took it, and he was trying to explain how to make. I couldn't really tell what was going on, but you are right. Yeah. He did tell them that they were uneven or something.
Yeah, they needed like the space bar, so I think everything was the same height or had the same amount of spaces between it. But judges shouldn't
tell you what you did wrong,
and they normally don't. But like you said, he couldn't even do the press and then say you're wrong because whatever they did was incorrect. But he should have just said, "I'm sorry, it's not correct," and not said anything.
That's what I thought too. I thought it was so wrong that there wasn't even a way for him to turn it over because they did something so incorrect. So maybe that's why he said something, but I did catch that when I watched it back this afternoon.
Yeah.
So April from Team Goat Yoga is in the chat room as well. So if you guys want, my brother Hotch is in the chat room. James. If you want to talk to him. So
what's going on, April?
Party
guys,
people.
Feel free to chime in the live chat. And this is one of the reasons that you guys should watch the show live each week, because this chat goes away once the video is posted. So please hang out, share, thumbs up, like, tell everybody, use the hashtag Racist Recap. All right, so we're here, Diamond Glint. And I think the diamonds was extremely difficult. April thinks she'd be good with the diamonds because her husband was very picky with the wedding ring. I don't see how your husband looking for diamonds makes you an expert at diamonds or makes you good at diamonds because your husband was doing something. I know you're in the chat room, April, but
it could be like subconscious, or I mean, I don't know.
I think girls just love diamonds. I just want to play with diamonds. It was actually all the guys went to the diamonds. So I don't think that helped too much. Now we were smart. when we saw Lucas back using the mirror, it
they
was
used the
Lucas's
mirror.
idea to use the mirror with the printing challenge. We really thought that was super
Yeah, that was a
smart.
great idea.
Yeah.
Super smart on his behalf. Something simple like that can make all the difference when everybody's just thinking so in the box. You just use a mirror or just hold it up to the light. I mean, whatever it is, those simple things that seem so obvious to the viewers at home. You're like, why don't you just do that? You don't understand the adrenaline, the focus to get this. Oh.
I always say any roadblock or detour, I would have like a mental freak out for like 3 minutes, and then finally your body calms down and you're like, all right, I can do this. This is what I have to do. And I think watching it at home, people forget. And I mean, they obviously have no idea what it's like to be in the moment, but it's tough. Tougher than you think sometimes.
Yeah.
One question. Go ahead, Eric.
And I said, for me and Daniel, I think our biggest strength was very much our biggest weakness. We were exactly the same. We've grown up together. We've done everything exactly the same. I mean, we've been trained together from fire, EMS. Everything we do is together and the same. So if we really good at something, we're both good at it. If we're bad, we're bad.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've seen the commercial with us. We're really bad. There's no rhythm to be found.
Difference in skill sets.
Yeah.
It's not like one's really good at balance and one's really good at math and one's really good at this because you have the same DNA. I mean,
yeah, literally, it's the same.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
If you had the female, like a female guy team is huge, because that's 100% different perspectives right there, and so I seen that hurt us as well as help us in different things.
I think you guys did a smart thing as well during the print challenge. You guys were using your arm at least to see what it would look like, but it looked like your whole arm, both of them were covered.
We're getting some sleeves.
You're there for quite some time. I thought that was a great idea as well. Team Extreme, they were looking through the paper. So these are two moments that may be possible superfan moves later. When we go over to the diamonds, we're looking at Team Slam Dunk. They were the first ones done, followed by Team Extreme. Team Slam Dunk, right? First one's done?
Not the diamonds. They finished the printing press. Did you say that? I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I'm sorry. I put them all together. But Team Slam Dunk was the first one done, followed by Team Extreme and Big Brother. But then Big Brother seems to beat Team Extreme to the next task. So again, driving from A to B, it seems to be so much harder for these teams than the actual
I think they
task.
drove.
Huh?
Just navigate.
Navigating.
Yeah, I mean,
did you watch the episode?
It showed Team Extreme getting lost because I made mental note of that as how quickly they left, and then they weren't even the fourth people until the French fry race because Team Extreme had went up to some church. It looked like they were on the top of a building, and finally some woman was like, "No, you're in the wrong spot."
Yeah, it seemed like they asked one of those travel people with the flag, and they bring the groups around. I was like, "That's smart. You got to ask one of those people."
All right, so I don't know. I think that was a pretty uneven task. I think it was definitely the diamonds was so much harder. Everybody who did the diamonds seemed to finish last. Who finished the diamonds first? Wellstrong seemed to finish first with the diamonds, and they were like fourth or fifth overall. So definitely not the task to choose. We figured out that firefighters did take 3 hours to do the diamond. After this detour, the teams are given a clue. That was written. I'm just going to skip right past it. I didn't want to dwell on it.
Hey, we told them, don't get us to print something for you and don't get us to pick your diamonds. That's not what we do.
You save lives, baby. Save lives.
So is everything pretty much, people are asking as far as like spacing of the detours. Were the detours close together? Was it easy for you to swap?
They were one of them. They were probably, if I had to guess, a mile or so apart. One was on the other side of town, pretty close to the chocolate factory on the other side, if I remember right. But we couldn't cabs. You couldn't find a cab hardly anywhere. You'd see them every once in a while, but most of them, I asked the NBA, I said, "Man, where'd y'all find a cab?" They said, "We just ran to the train station."
Yeah,
but it made sense. They were all by. So when we left the Diamond Station, we said we're not running anymore. I said we went and got a cab.
Do you remember what day of the week it was when you were there? Because so much of this leg reminds me of our Switzerland leg, and we were there on a Sunday, and it was like Geneva was shut down on a Sunday. People weren't really out. There weren't many cars out and about. So much of this leg, when I was watching it on TV, reminded me of when we were in Geneva, and I was wondering that if it was a Sunday and it was just quieter around town than it normally is on like a busy weekday.
I'm trying to think. I know it wasn't Friday because we was thinking about the fries, but they but I remember thinking that we started on October 1st, so we went to Iceland.
So it
Iceland
had to
and flew
been
there.
midweek.
Yeah.
If you think about it, yeah, they left on Sunday.
Sunday, Monday,
probably started
Tuesday.
the next leg on a Monday. You fly out the next day, Tuesday. It's
It was
probably
Tuesday
Wednesday
or
or Thursday.
Wednesday. Yeah. So after the Detour, all the teams got this saying in Dutch, and when they translated it, said, "Go to the large public square where you will find City Hall and Sylvia Bravo," which everybody knows there, I guess, right? It was pretty simple to figure out that was the Grote or Grote Market.
Yeah, they told us a big old statue in the square. Some guy told us, and it was straightforward. We didn't have a lot of problem finding that at all. We didn't have to look for it.
Once there, we faced the first time ever here in the Amazing Race in the American edition. They've had these head-to-heads in about called Face-Off and Double something in like 4 or 5 other countries. The one that I recognized it from was Canada. Was really looking forward to this head-to-head. I love the process. I love the thought of it. If they're going to talk about the most competitive teams in the history of the race, why not bring the head-to-head? Love it. Love it. Hate the execution of it. All right, so let's get into this.
I'm right there with you. So,
so they had dress up like a French fry.
Because Bertram loves costumes.
Bertram loves costumes. Get yourself a dolly and like 7 or 8 frozen bags or whatever bags of fries, and run around a silly little obstacle course. Not even really an obstacle, like it's just a fake race course. It was so bad that you had Phil trying to do commentary, and that was even bad. I love listening to Phil, but it was like he couldn't even come up. And he passed her, and that's it. Once you pass somebody, it's over. There was no way to make up anything. There was no drama in it. If I could just go through it, and then we could talk about it. Cody beat Cedric in the first showdown. Sean Marion beat Henry. Christy beat Evan. Chris beat Henry. Alex beat Evan. Lucas beat Henry. Tim beat Evan. As you can see, Henry and Evan lose every freaking race that they fight. They've had 7 races it took them before they actually beat somebody. And Tim beat Evan. Henry finally beat April when Henry wipes out at the finish line and almost blew it.
I think that was like the most nail-biting part of the whole thing. Like, oh my God, is he going to get across?
Will he be able to get across? All right, Corey, your thoughts before I destroy this again?
It was hard for me to watch that part back again because it was so anticlimactic to me. It was like every time 2 people lined up, you could tell who was going to win just by looking at the 2 people standing there. That was my only problem with it, is it was just literally came down to like who could outrun the other person in a physical foot race. Every time I felt like you knew who was going to win. The second they announced that this was the head-to-head, I knew Goat Yoga was going home. Like, I just wish there was something else that was more like skill-based, where maybe you had an advantage if you did it 8 times and maybe you were stacking cups. I don't know. It could have been anything other than a foot race. It was just like, I don't know. And
2, really, I mean, the design of the course, if you say the people that won were the ones that like gunned it that first open spot.
And then,
ahead. I mean, a couple times you saw people cutting people off. I think it was cart stuff, but it just, if you kind of got that first head on the person you were racing, then it seemed like you could get the flow of the cart and make it through the course. I mean, April did really good doing it her first try. She didn't lose any of the freets. Which was impressive because everyone else seemed to have a really hard time steering the cart. It just seemed that like.
All right, so let's get to the drama. Team Goat Yoga is sitting there at the head-to-head after everybody goes and everybody's finally there. We're down to Team Goat Yoga and Team Firefighters. Team Goat Yoga is waiting, what they don't show on TV. They're waiting at this place for 3 hours for Team Firefighters to show up. And then Team Firefighters show up and smoke them and they have to go home.
That was just terrible, too.
People are pissed about that. And I think, hey, listen, that's part of the race. And you guys are so humble. I watched the extra footage clips. You guys are like, they ran a better race today. We just happen to go home because of it. They're going home because of the task. How do you guys feel about the head-to-head? Do you like it as a head-to-head? Did you like this one particular?
I mean, we liked it because we won. We didn't like how it all came out. You know, when it comes down to it, we wanted to win, but because we were there forever, we even told them, they said, so what are y'all going to do? We were sitting there forever at the Diamonds. We said, somebody walk in, I thought it was Phil coming in, hey, you're crappy, leave kind of thing, So we're either waiting on Phil or we're going to be here all night. And when we finally got it, we got there and we're like, well, we're definitely out, save a non-elimination round. So we're just kind of chilling, like, no need to get upset and nothing we can do now. And we get there and we see April and Sarah, we're like, I said, again, you're like, of all people, it had to be our friends again, I mean, we're friends with everybody, but we had worked with them a little bit in the beginning. And I'm like, why do we keep having to go against them? And, we did the race and then we won, but, we were happy we won, but we weren't happy the way it went down, that we had to put them out and things.
Yeah, like I think the fact, like if it was placed any other point, that you wouldn't have felt like you directly sent them home. I think that would be the hardest thing, is being like friendly and
the mat is right there at the finish line.
Yeah,
You're going home.
That had to be probably the hardest part of the whole thing, is knowing like you just kind of became friends. You have this little alliance going on, and your win essentially was like, see ya. As opposed to if it was in the beginning of the leg, kind of like, all right, well, I beat you here, but we'll see how the rest of the leg shakes out, that you didn't directly send them home. So I think that's tough.
So let's give props to first place, Team Big Brother, winning $2,500 each after beating the big bad basketballers. Steady Cody. I think that's one thing that's going to help him in this race. Something that people hated on Big Brother was that he's got this like almost monotone face, almost like this Eli Manning-esque. He never changes his face, but it's like when he's mad, when he's sad, when he's happy, he always has this face on. And I think that's kind of a good thing in this race, because he doesn't get too high, he doesn't get too low. He's kind of always in the middle. And I think that really helped in this part of the race, at least so far. We'll see if this can continue. But what do you guys think about Team Big Brother? Are you impressed?
I mean, I thought it was very interesting. I mean, a lot of the teams finished in very similar places to as they did in the first leg. Even with Evan and Henry ending up as far back as they did, if you get rid of the head-to-head, it was almost a pretty much identical finish, with the exception of Cedric and Sean finishing much higher, obviously. So I thought that was an interesting takeaway. A lot of people seem to perform very similarly the first two legs, and I don't know if that's just going to be how it shakes out for the whole thing, or if it's just people hitting their stride quicker than others.
Yeah, I asked Justin if he's nervous about Team Big Brother's average, since now they've placed second and first. Like, if they really continue to stay at
with
the top,
2 legs into this.
Go ahead. If they continue to finish top 1 and 2, I mean, that's going to jeopardize our?
It's not going to jeopardize any. You don't understand how hard it's been. 30 seasons. It's so hard.
Yeah, but we had that 9th, where if they don't have that, if they stay towards the top, then their average is going to be better. The other thing
I'm just saying,
this is the chance that they beat our average right here. This is the chance. 0.
I'm just saying,
0% chance.
We went 5 legs without finishing lower than second place. So
that's what I mean. So
yeah,
especially if they stay at the top. Well, we don't know what they've done. So I'm just asking if you were nervous. And of course he's not. He's cocky as anything.
I'm
he's
cocky
not nervous.
And confident. I have the knowledge, and I use my knowledge to make a deduction. My knowledge says that in 30 seasons, there's only been 2 teams that have done better than us. And I don't think Cody and Jess, who are not huge fans of the show, are going to be one of those.
Yeah, but obviously they didn't have to prepare that much to finish second and first
in 2 legs.
Okay,
anybody can do that for 2 legs.
I'm just saying it's a lot easier to stay in the front when you're at the front.
I love how heated you are.
Eric,
it's 2 legs, and she's like, they're gonna break the record.
I didn't say that. You're putting words in my mouth. I said, are you nervous?
No.
Okay.
They got 0 chance.
Eric, really quick. Think back to this leg. Now that you see kind of how the bottom people are getting wiped off, does that make you nervous when you had to send home Goat Yoga knowing that they finished second to last and then they went home? Now that puts you as kind of the last team, that now that you're at the bottom, you have to fight harder to kind of move back up.
Yeah, we said it. Hey, we told each other, hey, we're on the cutting block now. The other two got cut. Now we're on the block. If we don't change it, we're out of here. So yeah, we're definitely feeling the pressure. And something else with this season, we're kind of counting on going into it. You watch mini season and you see a few weak teams. Like, okay, we could probably take them. Give us a little bit of a buffer. We didn't really see that too much on this season. There wasn't a lot of buffer teams, I guess you could say. Everybody was really good, and it's whoever made the least mistakes, and that's how it went.
I feel so bad for April of Team Goat Yoga. It seems like Sarah gave up.
She didn't even want to do the free thing.
She's like, no, you did so good the first time. Why don't you just go again? And I'm like,
well, she had a 3-hour break in between races. It's not like she was tired.
Yeah, but still, obviously Sarah's a little bigger, looks a little stronger. That holding those things up, it might have been a little more difficult for a smaller girl. So maybe that would have been the difference. You never know, but I don't know. Whatever. So
I was just glad
unfortunately,
Daniel did it because he said no offense, at all to the girls. He said, but if I lose on national TV to girls,
in a French fry costume, no less.
Yeah.
People love your Sarah impression.
Well, listen, I would love Sarah to come on the show. She's always welcome. She wants to come on the show and clear things up. This is a forum for that, for the racers. This is one of the reasons the Racers Recap was created, because we had so much problems trying to communicate what really happened on the show to the fans in mass that it was like I answered the same questions 1,000 times, that we just like, you know what, let's give the racers a place where they could talk to thousands of fans and get the message out of what actually happened. So you seem like you guys are really humble. There's nobody really mad at you guys for sending Goat Yoga home, which is pretty good, and you're lucky and fortunate with that way. Is there anything that you want to clear up? I don't think there's been too much drama, but if there's anything that you want to clear up for yourself or somebody else on the show, you have a platform.
The only thing I've seen a few things, and like I said, I don't really respond to anybody with negativity because most of it's pure ignorance and it's not worth time. But
you're right.
Someone were saying, they pushed you ran them over. The firefighters pushed them. What kind of example is that? And I'm like, there's nobody. If you actually watch the show, you've seen in that curve, a lot of people twisting. When you're going around a curve, I think it was the wheel catching in the cobblestone that turned it a lot. But no, I just want them to know that there was no intentional ramming, pushing, anything like that at all in there. That's important for us because that's not how we was rolling.
You sure? Because we heard that Team IndyCar gave you some pointers on how to make her turn and do a 360. So when you hit her and she spun around. No.
Yeah, good pit maneuver.
It's a good pit maneuver. Yeah, I felt so bad. But I wanted to see her race to the end. But that once you spin around, then you get that.
It was tough. Once you turn, it's just the way the course was designed. It's really hard to catch up, and they did it. Like I said, they ran a great race. They ran a better race than we did that leg. And it just, the first time in 30 seasons, they did something. Yeah. It was to our advantage, but to their detriment. It's like, it's just the way it worked out. It could have been anybody.
Yes, and leg 3 takes us from Belgium to Morocco. One of the trips that we won. We're so fortunate. One of the places we got to visit.
Excited.
You guys are going to Tangier, and the episode's called "It's Going to Be a Fragrant Day," which probably means the dealing
opposite.
With poop.
Yeah, it's like probably not smelly.
So I'm thinking that there's going to be some poop involved. Does Jess steal a gnome? Does Jess steal the gnome?
Everyone's jumping to conclusions. Huh? Jess stole it. Let's just see how the leg shakes out because, they made it look like Joey got hurt. It really didn't. So.
Yeah, but she was like, you even hear Team Ocean Rescue, like, that's mine. Like, give it back, something like that. You hear Brittany saying it. So I love looking forward to the drama. You normally can't take other people's stuff, but we'll see what happens. Team Slam Dunk looks like they're in trouble. We don't know, but we'll see how it plays out. Corey, what are you thinking about Morocco? You think?
I watched it back and I was like slowly clicking like pause to like see the like slow cuts of everything. Mm-hmm. And I saw I swear it shows Team Well Strong in these like belly dancer costumes, which I thought were meant for women. So I guess I'm excited to see what Chris and Trevor are getting up to. But yeah, I was trying to pace out and see what's going on with Jess and Brittany. Obviously, you can't tell, but I mean, any time there's been a gnome, every team has their own gnome. So I didn't see Jess with 2 at any point. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I'm looking forward to some drama because I think this is when it starts to, the first couple legs are like everybody gets start to shake out, and the next couple it's like people start to get serious, and then leg 5 and leg 6 is when people start to get dirty. So I think we're starting to get to these interesting legs. And Morocco is a place where some people are going to have some issues with again, travel. I think is going to be tough in Morocco, especially if they're driving on their own. We were told that a lot of places are dangerous, and we saw huge potholes in the middle of like highways. So like if you're driving at night and you hit those potholes, your cars are done. So I don't know if that has anything to do with what's coming up. But
yeah, it wasn't one of the countries that we were told we should drive in by ourselves. And
normally we drive everywhere and visit places, but they were like, you might not want to do that here.
I was afraid.
Well, thank you so much, Eric. We really appreciate you hanging out. So glad you didn't get that siren.
Do you have a fan move?
Huh?
Do you have a
yes,
fan
yes.
move?
I'm just thinking it. So I'm so glad you didn't get those sirens, and we really appreciate you hanging out with us. We're gonna do.
Thanks for having us.
We're gonna do our little awards here, so don't take it personal if you happen to your team happens to get one of them. Diana, who you putting in? Who are you putting in check, Diana?
I didn't really think about it. I didn't say.
Right. You want me to give you some time?
Yeah, go ahead. Go
All
first.
right. I'll start off with the Superfan move. Superfan move is going to go to Lucas. Lucas is going to get the Superfan move for taking out the mirror or using the mirror to figure out the clue for the print task. I love the fact that the Team Extreme used the light, but that's kind of, I think they did that by accident by holding the paper up and then seeing it. And I think Lucas was much more well thought out in like a super fan way. So super fan move goes to Lucas for using the mirror. Corey, LOL moment.
Oh, Lucas.
My LOL moment this week was for Cedric when they were, I think it was when they were waiting for the next team to do the French fry race. And he's just talking about putting seasoning salt on himself. And like the voice he was doing was so funny. I like rewound it twice because he was cracking me up. So I thought Cedric was very entertaining in this episode. A lot of his commentary and stuff that he said was great. So I really appreciated. This seemed like he was having a lot more fun this week.
Yeah, he's definitely surprised me with one being as big a fan as he is, because it seems every episode he's mentioned something about watching almost every season with his family. I love that. And I loved it because you could see him just like, being playful, not worrying about like image.
Yeah.
Which a lot of athletes tend to worry about, their ego. And it doesn't seem like he has one at all. Did you come up with your
so I asked the chat room, and I think I'm, unfortunately, Eric, going to put you and your brother in check. Only for not, no, because it's one of those like the switching the detour. Like you would have figured out printing press in less than 3 hours. I think switching detours. But then again, you don't know how long the other one takes. But I mean, yeah, I got to go with that. You should have just maybe stuck with it and spent less than 3 hours.
We embrace that award.
And I think somebody in the chat room said, "Did you feel bad beating Team Goat Yoga?"
Yes, we did feel bad. We felt terrible about it. I love the corny jokes, though. It's our favorite.
Yeah, we heard that you guys are the king of the dry, corny dad jokes, so we're waiting to hear them. So we didn't hear too many of them.
I didn't see us too much on there, so maybe if they start putting us on there, we might hear a few things. Hopefully.
Listen, that some people think that's the winner's edit. So if you look up some there's another guy, Logan Superkuaki, does a winner's edit, and so if you look to see who's got the winner's edit, that a lot of times the winners are pretty quiet early, and then they get to blossom late, kind of like in our season. Is there anything else that we're missing, boys and girls?
Nope.
I don't think so.
I think that's going to do it. I would really appreciate everybody, each and every one of you in the chat room. Thank you guys so much. I mean, we love hanging out and talking Amazing Race with you. If you want to get Cooper, go ahead.
I am stuck. Coop. Come here.
Thumbs up, like, share, subscribe. That's the way to help us. You want to help us grow. You want to make us bigger, better. We really like that.
Come here.
Couple things I'm working on. If you want to help me as well, you can use the hashtag or at Phil Kogan and Bertram Van Munster. I think they deserve to be on the races recap. So if we ask them enough times, enough different people ask them, maybe they'll join us. So go and use the hashtag or go at Bertram and Phil and tell them to join the races recap. This is Cooper G Doodle. So check him out on Instagram. Cooper G Doodle. We love you. Thank you so much for joining us, each and every one of you. The reason we do it. Hey there, what do you say there? Adios, world.
Y'all have a good one.
Bye. Say bye, Diana.
Bye.
That was so weird.